policies of forced assimilation. Despite the international commitments to human rights, China's occupation of Tibet persists as an unchecked violation of international law. We are here today because silence is complicity. We refuse to let the struggles of our brothers and sisters in our homeland and across the diaspora go unheard. We are standing here in the beginning of this year for the China's Universal Periodic Review. 20 member states of the UN made 25 recommendations regarding the human rights situation in Tibet. And what was China's response? China rejected majority of those recommendations, labeling them as false information. They dismissed the criticisms as baseless. But we know better. 1 million children, some as young as 6 years old, have been forcibly taken from their families and placed into colonial boarding schools far away from their homes. These children are taught almost exclusively in Mandarin, with little to no instructions in Tibetan language. This curriculum is heavily shaped by the Chinese government assimilation efforts, systematically erasing Tibetan culture, history and religion from their daily lives. Under the pretense of education, these schools are fundamentally altering the structure of our Tibetan society. Imagine your child being torn away from you and placed in an institution where the language is deemed unimportant, the culture irrelevant, and the religious faith suppressed. This is not education, this is cultural eradication. These practices are a blatant violation of international human rights standards, yet they persist unabated. Closer to our home here, we must also address Switzerland's ongoing negotiations with China to upgrade the free trade agreement. Switzerland, as one of the only countries in Europe having such an agreement with China, has chosen not to include the human rights clause in their agreement. This refusal sends a dangerous message that economic interests outweigh human dignity. By failing to demand accountability from China for its human rights abuses, Switzerland risks becoming complicit in perpetuating these violations. As Tibetans and human rights advocates, we urge Switzerland to set an example and ensure that its trade agreements align with the moral obligations and its constitution. Human rights are not negotiable, nor are they optional. Tibetans deserve the same freedoms and protections that the UN was established to uphold. It is time for the United Nations to meet its commitment to justice and humanity. We stand here today because we believe in hope. We believe in the power of collective action and the principle of justice that bind humanity together. Tibet's struggle is a reminder that when we turn a blind eye on oppression anywhere, we undermine the freedom of people everywhere. To the United Nations we say, step up, uphold your commitments, protect human rights, not as a favor, but as a fundamental responsibility. To everyone here I say, keep raising your voices, keep advocating and never lose hope. Together we can be the change our country needs and the voice the world cannot ignore. Bodhgyalo!